Hi, I'm 13 News Now. Meteorologist Craig Moeller with this update on this messy Monday. We're starting off with a live sky view from our tower cam. I've got it really zoomed in. The winds are whipping and the camera is shaking a little bit in the winds. Even though it's securely mounted up on top of the tower, those winds still shake it a little bit when it's really zoomed in. You can see some of the cars there along the Hague. They are partially submerged. We've been talking about the coastal flooding. That is one of the big issues we have. Moderate tidal flooding right now, a little bit below major, the threshold for major flooding, but we've seen the water levels around Sewell's Point climbing pretty close to 6 feet or so, say 5.8 to 6 feet or so above the average of the low tide. So that sets up moderate tidal flooding. You just saw some of that. We've got rain this morning that is going to mix and transition to snow late morning up on the peninsula and over across the south side into the afternoon. Wet and windy, no getting around it today. We've got this area of low pressure that is spinning and will swing off the coast line of strong to severe storms. We've seen some severe warnings down to the south, and we'll check in on that in just a moment. I wanted to show you, though, we have our coastal flood warning for those tides right there across Hampton Roads. Back down to our southwest, you can see a flood advisory in place. There's been a lot of heavy rain there, so this is not related to the tides, obviously, but there's been enough heavy rain that it's actually a flood advisory down that way. For our area, it's wind-driven water levels coming up with the tides. I mentioned we've got severe weather, some very strong storms producing gusty outflow, winds in excess of 60 miles per hour working up along Ocracoke towards Hatteras and the southern part of the Outer Banks. There could also be some hail up to about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Now, you take a look here. I mentioned the flood advisory, but I really want to focus on some of that heavier rain. Poplar Branch down to Kill Devil Hills, that part of the Outer Banks, seeing it. The rain's been steady, kind of moderate rain across much of northeast North Carolina, up through Hampton Roads and over to the eastern shore. Right now, still rain on the peninsula, but you go a little farther to the northwest, and that's where we have that rain-snow line. Richmond, now Christchurch, some of the areas, Tappahannock, seeing some snow at this point. Saluda also dealing with the snow. That line is still northwest of Williamsburg. Places like Tuano, Norge, Lightfoot, you're probably seeing some mixing now here at mid-morning. Petersburg also right on the rain-snow line mix, so we're seeing it getting closer to us, and this trend will continue. You'll notice how that snow line's starting to mix down. There's a lot of cold air aloft. It's been really, really warm this morning at the surface and across most of the area. But as the snow falls and some of the winds shifting around to the north, that colder air is finding its way down to the ground. That's why we're getting that transition to snow off to the north and west. So you take a look at the temperatures as we go through the mid to late morning, and you see low 30s around Richmond, mid 30s West Point, Tappahannock, cooler as well. For Newport News and Norfolk at 11 o'clock, we're still looking at temperatures above freezing, 40s for Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, down towards Elizabeth City. But that transition to kind of a wet snow or a rain snow mix likely to occur as we go past the noon hour. And then this afternoon, temperatures mid 30s, still above freezing, but cold enough to allow for some wet snowflakes to mix in. And out to the west, with it being a little cooler with temperatures in the low 30s, I'm concerned that there could be some accumulating snow on some of the elevated surfaces, bridges, overpasses, maybe decks, bushes, grassy areas. We could be seeing some minor accumulations out that way. You get up towards Richmond, up there, they could see maybe a few inches in spots. 3 to 5 inches a possibility just to the northwest of Richmond and Tappahannock. This stuff will move out by late afternoon and into the evening. 6:45, you see the skies clearing out. So this is not going to be a long duration event, but what's coming through is really packing a punch. As far as the rain or the snow totals go, this is one of our models. This is the graph model, and you'll notice 1/2 inch to 1 inch around Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake. That's reasonable as far as what kind of mixes and falls, but keep this in mind. You'll find less than these numbers on the ground. And the reason for that, the surface of the earth, very, very warm. Yesterday's high was 70, 76 the day before for Norfolk. So the ground's really, really warm. And most of what falls, these numbers, most of what falls will melt as it hits the ground. So some of the inland areas where you get a little bit more, there could be, a little covering in some areas, especially the elevated spots. And then up towards Tappahannock, Richmond, there you're more in that 3 to 5 inch range or so up that way. So we're going to watch for that. I do want you to stay alert, especially elevated elevated surfaces for some potential slushy spots, even across parts of Hampton Roads in the south side. So again, today that rain mixes to snow late morning through the afternoon. The main points, ground is warm, a lot's going to melt, but stay alert for those slushy areas, and some minor accumulation will be possible inland. Now we're going to focus on the winds. They've been coming in from the northeast, gusts of 48 miles per hour at Oceana, down in Elizabeth City, the Coast Guard Air Station there. Earlier, we saw some gusts up around 54 miles per hour or so at Elizabeth City. So the winds have been howling. There's a high wind warning for the Outer Banks. We also have wind advisory in place near the coast here for Hampton Roads. The winds will be an issue through the early afternoon, but then relax a little bit late afternoon. And also notice the winds. The reason the tide's so high, we've had a northeast wind that sets up the tidal flooding issues around Hampton Roads. As the winds shift more to the north and northwest, there is some concern about sound side flooding for the Outer Banks. So we're going to need to watch that this afternoon, but the winds will be easing. And again, wind chills really cold through the afternoon and into the evening. It's going to feel like it's in the 20s. So that colder air is coming in. We want everybody to be careful out there. Again, we do have the coastal flood alerts here. You can see coastal flood warnings out for Hampton Roads, for Northampton County on the eastern shore. Accomack has a coastal flood advisory. We also have coastal flood warnings to include the Middle Peninsula and the Northern Neck along with the peninsula. It is a mess out there, folks. Take it easy. One other quick note, we've got storm warnings up for the Chesapeake Bay and the coastal waters just east of Virginia Beach. That will be an issue as well. Potential for some hurricane force winds farther offshore, but for our immediate coastal waters, storm warnings are up. Now, after today, temperatures fall in Norfolk to about 30 degrees. We're talking mid-20s for inland areas, so there is concern about what falls today, rain and snow potentially freezing up on some of the roads, especially farther inland. That's something we'll watch tomorrow morning. 42, sunshine tomorrow, some more clouds, 55 on Wednesday. And then again, there's a chance for showers overnight Thursday and early Friday. Maybe a little more mix early Friday morning with temperatures in the low 30s. We'll see temperatures chilly on Saturday and warming by Sunday. Stay tuned to 13 News Now throughout the day for more updates on this weather situation.